Razavan here for FightHype.com. It's 2019.
Yes.
Is he still drained?
I'm good. I had a week in the Caribbean, or 9 days. I feel good. I was a bit like, we did 14 weeks on the spin last year. You know, it was tough, and it was good to have a little break. It takes 5 or 6 days to unwind, but after a while, sort of started realising there's a little bit more to life than boxing. You know. But now I'm back. I've realised there's nothing more to life than boxing. So we're back amongst it, and we're ready. We're ready for a big year.
You finished off 2018 with a spectacular pay-per-view event, Dylan White, Derek Chisora. When you look back at 2019, we had some huge fights. We had some fighters that retired. But do you see it now as, I've got a tough ask to resemble 2018?
Yeah, I think if you're going to criticise our 2018, maybe there wasn't, I say, like standout fights. I don't know. I'm a big critic of myself. So how many great 50-50s did we put on? Quite a few. But when you look back, maybe it lacked 1 or 2 more super fights. I don't know. But then you look at the year and you say, hey, Bellew 2, Usyk Bellew, Joshua Parker, Unified Heavyweight World Championship, Joshua Povetkin, White Chisora. I mean, there was some really, really good fights. So. We had Demetrius Andrade become WBO World Middleweight Champion. We had Danny Jacobs become IBF Middleweight Champion as well. We had Charlie Edwards become WBC World Champion. Callum Smith become WBA World Champion. It was a big year, but I guess it's the expectancy level now. If you would have put 2018 in 2013, it would have been a life-changing year for boxing, but every promoter is striving to produce great cards and big fights, and I think that's great for boxing. So, there's that competition amongst everyone to try and succeed. So, when I look back on 2018, I feel like it was a very solid year for us. It's a massive year for our business, with the American expansion, Italy, Germany. Maybe we needed 1 or 2 more super fights. Maybe we needed a Brooke Khan in there. But not many. But again, I'm critical, and that's good, I think, for fans, that I don't sit there and think I'm the bollocks, I'm the greatest. I know that we can always improve, whether that's our business, whether that's our events, whether that's the fights. I think our events are getting better, the event experience, and I know that might not mean a lot to people watching this, but just your enjoyment when you're there, the interaction, the build-ups, the support shows, the content on the big screens in the arena, just everything that makes the Matchroom events stand out for you to go and go, Matchroom, I love this. I love going to these events, and we're constantly trying to evolve and change. But it always comes with the content and the quality, which is ultimately the fights.
Your job is to always create and maximise on fighters and make them pay-per-view stars. Obviously, we've seen the departure of David Haye, Tony Bellew, who were pay-per-view stars. Amir Khan looks like he's not going to be on pay-per-view in the UK. Kell Brook doesn't look like he's not going to be in those big mega fights that warrants a pay-per-view event. February 2nd, you've got a bundle of superstars, up-and-coming stars on the event. Do you hope that one of them, it's a breakthrough?
I think it's really, when people talk about pay-per-view stars, there's only one pay-per-view star in the UK, Joshua. And by a pay-per-view star, it's not if he fights him, it's he's pay-per-view. Whatever happens, he's pay-per-view. Fury's, he's not a million miles away, to be honest with you. He could fight anyone, and he's probably pay-per-view now as well. But there's very few like that. So you had guys fighting each other. Bellew was never a pay-per-view fighter until he boxed Haye twice. Then he was, but unfortunately for him, he had to fight Usyk, which was good for the fans. But when you look at those guys, Khan is not pay-per-view on his own. He was against Brook, and Brook's the same, so that rules them out. Dillian Whyte is almost like, he can't fight anybody, but he's a pay-per-view star now. He's headlined 2 pay-per-view events, but they've both done really good numbers. He still needs a dance partner, but when you talk about that older era, you're quite right. And I think February the 2nd is a great example of those fighters coming through, and not just on here, but Josh Kelly, Joshua Buatsi, Anthony Fowler, Joe Caldina, those guys. We're going to find out, Lawrence Okoli, who's on this card, we're going to find out which of those guys are the future headliners of big Saturday night fight nights and box office events as well. Now you might be looking at it going, fucking hell, box office, that's it. These guys want to be in those big fights. You heard Ted Cheeseman say, I'm up for fighting Fowler. Wouldn't it be great if it's for a world title? You know, if you built to a stage of Cheeseman against Fowler for a world title, maybe in 12, 18 months' time, maybe that is a pay-per-view event. Or maybe they want to do it in September. You know, but all these guys, we need to give them the opportunity. And again, someone said, why are you doing this show at the O2? You know, this is going to sell 4,000 or 5,000 tickets, right? The answer is because you have to give them that platform. I don't want to put them in a leisure centre and tell the world that this kid's going to be the future world champion and the future box office star, you know? So you put him in major events and you try and build major events against him. This is a guy we've had since the debut. He's in his 15th fight for the European title. He's sitting next to me on top table. I'm chuffed for him. I know how hard he works. He's only a young man. He's from Bermondsey. Do you know what I mean? So these people have got to come out and support him. And he's a really good fighter. He's fighting Sergio Garcia, who's Sergio Martinez's big charge. He's top 5 of the WBC. He's defended his European title on multiple occasions. It's a tough fight. But I'm really excited about 2019 to see Bellew's gone, Hayes gone, Amir Khan, Kell. You know, they're all at that final kind of stages of their career. So who's the new ones? You can't just hang on to the old and then when the new are up there, introduce everybody to the new and say, oh, by the way, this guy's fighting for the world title. I know you haven't heard of him, but let's follow him now. No, you follow these guys when we advise you to follow them as fans. We make you follow them. We make you magnetised towards them and say, oh, well, okay, now loudmouth Eddie Hearn's ranting about this guy, Josh Kelly. He must be a star. You watch him, and when he gets that world title level, you've been on that journey with him. And you want to support him, and he's got that brand value and that recognition that fans can associate with. So that's the problem in America. People get to world championship level, no one's heard of them. You've got to build them from the get-go. And that's why I want people like Ted Cheeseman, when he's taking a risk like this, to get that risk on main event on Sky and at the O2 Arena. Because if he's in a great fight and he beats Sergio Garcia, wins a European title in the O2 Arena, live on headline Sky Sport, we've really got something we can build from there. If you do it, stick it on an undercard or in a leisure centre, how can I tell you that this is the next big thing? If you're watching it in a leisure centre full of 600 people. That's not promoting. So, and I believe in these guys. And by the way, he's talented. It's not like I'm just saying, oh, he ain't very good, but stick him in the O2. No. This kid can really fight. Always in exciting fights.
We spoke many months ago and you said if the fight doesn't happen next, it will never happen. Honestly, how gutted and disappointed are you that the Kell Brook Amir Khan fight isn't happening? Well, considering that even at the Usyk and Bellew fight, Amir went up to Kell and shook his hand and said it's happening.
Yeah. I'm gutted. Yeah, I'm gutted. Yeah, I'm a bit gutted. I mean, you can't criticise Amir because he's fighting Terence Crawford, right? Press conference is tomorrow. I'm in New York in a meeting I can't get out of, so Frank Smith's going, so it's not that I'm pissed off with him. He's fighting arguably the best welterweight in the world, so it's hard to say Amir Khan's ducked Kell Brook, but it's the fight I wanted. It's the fight I feel 90% of the British public wanted, and it looks like it will never happen now. Now, Amir could win. He could do really well in the fight, but lose, and Kell could have a fight and win, and then you don't know. But right now, I feel that if they do fight, Amir could lose to Crawford, and Kell could lose in his next fight. The pay-per-view fight is still there, but don't do the numbers that it does now. Don't do Wembley. Don't do 1 million buys. So, yeah, it's I did everything.
How much involvement did you have in the Khan Crawford negotiations?
Quite a lot. I mean, we had to sign off on it because he's under contract with us. We're co-promoting the show as well, so quite a lot. But I didn't want him to take that fight. So, it was kind of like him and the lawyer would speak on about that fight and tell me everything that was happening, and I would just be pushing the Brook fight. In the end, he said, look, we want to take a Crawford fight. I said, okay. We had to obviously do our thing. He's under contract with us. We're co-promoting the fight. But I didn't feel like I was, I felt like I was letting Kell down if I was negotiating in that fight, pushing the money up for the Crawford fight. I really wanted him, there's more money in the Brook fight. So, and it's an easier fight. So, it was frustrating, but maybe it's about timing. If the Crawford fight didn't come up, then I think he would have fought Kell Brook. I'm sure of it. But and again, it's hard to criticise because he's fighting for a world title against a very good fighter. But it's not the fight that I wanted, and I can't lie to you and say, "Oh, it's amazing, it's a good fight." You know, I agree with that, and he's fighting for a world title. But we all know what we wanted.
When you speak to Amir and say to him that the Brook fight, it's now or never, what's Amir's perception? Does he feel like I can go and win, lose or draw? The
Yeah, he's in the Crawford fight to win it. He's not saying, "Oh, well, when I lose to Crawford, I can fight Brook anyway." He believes he can beat Crawford. It's a big ask. He's a great welterweight. But he also thinks that the Kell Brook fight will probably still be there after. It might be there, but it won't be if he loses, it won't be the same size that it is now. Still means it can happen, but I feel like now was the time, you know. And you know, I've got to now produce Kell options to say, well, we've got Jesse Vargas. You know, we've got Liam Smith now at 154 pound. You've got Jeff Horn, who's been on for a fight. You know,
Jarrett Hurd,
mandatory for. Yeah. So they say that all these people. You know, one thing you got to understand about boxing is people say a lot of things. When you say, "I'll come to UK and fight Kell Brook," the asterisk is missing for a shitload of money that is probably unrealistic. That's the bit that's missing. And same with most people who talk about a Joshua fight. "I'll fight Joshua, no problem. No problem. Okay, here's the offer." That's a disgusting offer. You know what I mean? So, well, you want to fight for 4 heavyweight world championship belts? You know, when AJ boxed Charles Martin, he got peanuts because he could become world heavyweight champion. He believed he was going to win the fight. Look at him now. So you've got to get the right deal. Don't think I'm saying you've got to take whatever you're offered, but you've got to put a value on winning things. Jarrett Hurd in that position, totally different. If he's coming to the UK to fight Kell Brook, it's about the money. 90%. The other 10% is going to the UK, travelling, beating a guy in his backyard. But for a lot of people, particularly with the AJ fight, it's 90% about the money and 10% about winning 4 heavyweight world championship belts. It seems like, you know, Wilder particularly doesn't put any value at all on becoming undisputed champion, which is disappointing for a guy that spent his whole career going one face, one name, one champion, but really doesn't want to do it. Really doesn't want to do it. You know? So boxing's can be a frustrating sport, not just for fans, but for promoters, because we're the ones who you presume are fucking it all up.
Especially you.
Yeah. You know, it's like, all right, no. But, you know, when they get to that level, I don't decide what a fighter should offer another fighter at that level. I can give my advice. I don't decide if a fighter accepts it or not. I can give my advice. So if I think an offer's fair but he won't take it, or I think an offer's too small, it doesn't mean that I can just go like that and it happens. But and my job is to try and make it happen. But it's really frustrating, particularly, you know, the more I think about Deontay Wilder, just how I think AJ's biggest mistake is that he's not really 24/7 on Instagram talking about what he's doing. And by the way, it's a much better life doing what he's doing. It's classier. But when you're there going, "He's ducking me, I'm ducking," like in the end, the fans go, yeah. It's like, well, let's talk about facts. You know, you sent an offer, 50 million. We asked for a contract. You wouldn't send one. Right? I asked for a meeting to discuss that offer. You wouldn't accept one. That's old news. Right? If you don't believe me on that, they're the facts. No one's denying those facts. Okay? This new one, you fight Fury, good fight, well done. Your stock's gone up, we make you a big percentage offer split. 2 fights, one in the UK, one in the US. Whatever happens, you could get knocked out in the first round. Still fight you again in America. You ignore my emails and contact. Like, it's so frustrating. Hearn, you don't want to, mate. Tell me what I should be doing to make this fight. You know, because like I say, there seems to be no value on becoming undisputed champion. The only reason that we're making the offers that we're making, because we shouldn't be making the offers, what we've made, in my opinion, is because he wants to be undisputed champion. If not, it'd probably be 10% less. But we want that. We're trying. We're increasing. Let's have a meeting. No. Did you get my email? Hello? The other day I had to send an email to say, just checking that you are ignoring me and it's not going in your spam. And I had to forward that to his secretary. Well, how fucking rude do you want to be? So it's really frustrating because anyone, I mean, I'm not saying you know Joshua, right? But you've spent time around him. Do you think he wants to fight Wilder? Like deep down. Do you think he's sitting home going, oh blimey, I really don't want this Wilder fight? Same with Fury. So he's got an ego, like everybody else. He's a fighter. He wants to fucking knock all these people out. But it's not a case of just, you know, I'm pushing. Give him that, you know, what about we make this offer? Fucking hell, mate. And what am I getting? Oh, like this. Okay. Give him that. Make him another offer. It's not just you go and go, oh, give him another 10%. Give him 60-40. Like, it doesn't work like that. You've got to understand that he's built to get to a level. He's put that work in. Us as a team to get to that level. So again, we're making offers that I don't think we should be. I'm not comfortable with how good the offers are, a lot of them. And some are going to be improved, some are staying where they are. But why are these fighters making this kind of money? Why? Because of Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? Why is Wilder Fury why was that the size that it was? Because of Anthony Joshua. You think, oh, shut up, Hearn. Because of Anthony Joshua. The whole fight was built off Joshua's running scared. Oh, that's the guy Joshua's running scared from, right? Why are the fighters making so much money to fight Anthony Joshua? Because of Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is not boxing in a 5,000 arena for 4 or 5 million, and then when he fights you, it becomes 30. He's getting that anyway. So he's built that. He's making that money. We don't want to just have defences. We want to have mega fights. So we're offering you that kind of money to try and entice you to take the fight. Again, I'm not comfortable with it, but it's what we've got to do to try and get them. But when they won't even reply, what do the fans say then? So when the fans say, Hearn, you're talking about, you don't want to fight. I was like, well, how comes I keep increasing my offer and they don't even reply to me? And what I'm going to do in about a week's time, I'm going to let everyone know the offers.
Actual.
Yeah, and you can make your own mind up. Fans, you can make your own mind up.
Ed, what's been the difference in the summer when you were trying to negotiate this Deontay Wilder fight? Deontay Wilder was very vocal about the fight, as you mentioned on Instagram, Twitter. The Fury fight was announced, he calmed down. During that period, Joshua didn't say much. I think he did one interview, but didn't say nothing. Yeah. But more recently, Joshua's a lot more open about having this Wilder fight. But isn't it quite obvious that Deontay Wilder has clearly said on many interviews already that the person I'm fighting next is
But that fight's not done. And if you've always wanted the undisputed fight, if you can make more money for the Joshua fight than you can for the Fury fight, and it's for the undisputed title, why wouldn't you do it? Fight Joshua, then fight Wilder for the undisputed. You know, Joshua is always quiet. Do you know what I mean? He spoke in that build-up, but he knew that basically after a certain amount of time we were fighting Povetkin. So he's not really saying anything about Wilder now, but if you ask him, he'll say, I want to fight Wilder. He's not coming on Instagram going, you, Deontay Wilder, you're running scared, why won't you fight me? You're this, because that's not his style, you know that. But I know what's happening behind the scenes, and you've clearly got one guy trying to make a fight and another guy not even willing to discuss it. You know, Fury, Wilder or White, they can all fight Joshua, not at the same time, on April 13. Any one of them can take that fight. They all know the numbers. Some are going to get improved, some aren't. But all of those three have an opportunity to fight Joshua, including Fury. And he knows, if he wants that fight, he can have it.
You said that you wanted to make an announcement on April 13th, beginning of January last year. It looks like Dillian Whyte has received an offer, which he's very disappointed with. Tough is it for you now to go back?
I was with him this morning. We've got to make an improved offer. I don't think the offer was spectacular. It was a lot of money, several millions.
Was it lower than his purse against?
I'm not going to put anyone in it, but that face should tell you all. A lot of things are going to be said, and a lot of things are going to try and force bigger offers and stuff like that, and a lot of it's just games, to be honest with you. But Dillian Whyte received a certain career high offer, and there will be a bigger one coming to him.
Closer to his expectation?
I can't tell you his exact expectation, but all I know is that It'll be a lot of money, more money than he can make anywhere else, probably times 2 or 3, and it'll be for the world heavyweight title. But everyone says to me, Eddie, you better deliver a shot to Dillian Whyte for a world heavyweight title. So I need to get into a position where I feel the offer's fair, and I can say to Dillian, you don't have to take this, but please don't say I haven't delivered you a world heavyweight title shot. So, and I think that there's some work to do on the offer. I want Dillian to be happy. I want AJ to be happy. I like the fight. It's a great fight. But we'll see.
The rumours before the Dillian Whyte and Chisora fight that he might be signing with PBC and Al.
Who's that? Rumours on Dillian?
Online, yeah.
Do you think because he took a...
do you feel like if the Joshua fight doesn't get made, that Dillian might just walk away?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Dillian is a pay-per-view fighter on Sky. He's had 2 headline pay-per-view fights, doing good numbers, making good money. If he doesn't feel like we're doing a good job for him, I'd shake his hand and say good luck. There's only one place to be, that's with us. I think he knows that. But no, I believe he's happy where he is. I think if we don't get the Joshua fight, he's got other options with us, but if he wants to look around. I think he believes we've done a good job. I can't see him going anywhere.
Funny, few rumours floating around.
More rumours.
Return of Vladimir Klitschko, Jaron Miller,
yeah.
Joshua, MSG.
No, all I can tell you is Klitschko, you may know as much as me on that. I wouldn't be surprised if Klitschko comes back. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to come back. Miller, Joshua is a definite opportunity for MSG. I like the fight. I like the fight for Joshua's career. He needs more profile in the US, right? So there's a fight against a big mouth New Yorker who's top 5 heavyweight in the world at MSG. Fill up the MSG, being a Brit, right? But there are fights that Joshua prefers ahead of that. But we have to see who actually wants to fight. You know, it's almost like I'll fight Joshua, but don't forget the asterisks for a shitload of money. That's unrealistic. So Fury can fight Joshua. He can phone me tonight and make the fight happen.
What's your timescale? When's the deadline now? April 30th.
2 weeks.
Not far away.
10 days to 2 weeks. Got to make a move.
Pacquiao Burns Sweet, just a fight prediction from your head? Just
Does nothing for me, that fight.
No, nothing at all.
Nothing for me. I mean, what is it? One guy's. Don't get me wrong. What a fighter, Pacquiao. Like his achievements, but no disrespect, faded. The other guy loses every time he steps up and has poor discipline, and it doesn't do anything for me, that fight. It's a decent fight, but does it excite you? I don't know. I mean, it's a good fight, but I'd rather Spence against Garcia. That excites me a little bit, you know. But I predict Manny Pacquiao wins on points, just like Mikey Garcia did.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much. As
Cheers.
always, enjoy your travels to New York.
mate.
EddieHearn, FightHype.com. Thank you very much.